2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Yo, what's the deal, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest news and opinions from the fan perspective. I do it with my homeboys each and every week, but before I get their voices on this mic, if we could get some thumbs up from the chat room, giving us a little okay on the audio. Adjustments made on the audio on the fly right before the show goes live. Never make for a good recipe, but I got my boy Cody in the house who he'll intro himself once, twice, or thrice if I make him. What's up, Cody?
What's going on, man? And you never know, my voice might sound like Barry White at any given moment because of my crazy microphone. But hey, dude, it doesn't matter. It's a Tuesday night. I'm excited to be here. And as always, our chat room is lit with the Panther faithful fans of the C3 Carolina Cat Chronicles Podcast. The founder in the building, co-founder, Joe Rhule. What's up, brother? Underground West, C. John Kid Code Barrera, Matt Knows Nothing, Trill Warren, Brad Dugan, Tony Dunn, and nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The Panthers continue to roll on with training camp. At this point in the normal year, we would have been playing the New England Patriots at this point. We would have been able to see Cam Newton in a New England jersey taking over. And really what everyone knew was going to be the number one option in New England versus a Carolina team that we were hoping to learn a lot about. But sadly, because COVID has ruined the world, is that I don't even know what week of training camp this is. I believe it's the 3rd week of training camp. On top of that, I believe that the Panthers are training. They are camping in a way, but other than that, really limited peek into what this team is going to look like. We have these visions in our head of sugar plums and all of this stuff, but at the same time, I just haven't seen it other than the little bit of, video clips that are coming out from the controlled Carolina Panthers environment. But we are very close to football, guys. CK in the house. Did you know that I think college football starts next weekend?
Dude, that's insane to think about. But I for the sake of taking this a step backwards, if COVID hit last year, Cam Newton may still be a Panther.
Damn,
yeah, because he wouldn't have gone in the preseason. Is that Cam Newton? I hate that. I'm the only reason I actually even brought his name up at this point. I did want to talk about him a little bit. I got some good jokes about Jared Stidham and him, but just because we would have been playing the Patriots, my friend said, "Hey, you guys would have been playing the Patriots this week," and I was like, "What?"
You bring it up because
I don't have a timeline.
That didn't register in my mind until you brought up the preseason that we would be playing the Patriots, and it was last year during the Patriots preseason game that he got hurt. And
that's exactly
I started
right.
to think, what if we didn't have to play the Patriots last year? Like, what if that didn't happen? I know that it's a lot of – he might have hurt himself other places or in a different game or anything like that, but you start to really kind of put things together, and you're like, daggone, this timeline couldn't have been worse with everything. So just another nail in the coffin of 2020.
But, hey, man, telling you, what do I like to say about what ifs? Hey, what if my aunt had nuts? She'd be my uncle.
Yep, that's the truth. And we've also got Greg, the man of many podcasts.
And he probably would have put them in you.
Easy there. It's a family-friendly. This podcast is family-friendly, at least for the first 4 minutes.
Well, we're at 5 minutes in, so
exactly. So it's clean. You're clear to go. We got Greg, the man of many podcasts, in here, aka the Bat Daddy, the Stat Daddy. What's up, Greg? How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. Ready to talk some Panthers football. It's been a crazy weekend. Comic-Con, well, not Comic-Con, but Fandom last weekend, which is a virtual Comic-Con. It's been a busy time. Very happy about the way things turned out, but tonight it's all about Panthers football, and I've got a few things we can talk about this evening. So.
What is really great about that, Greg, is that you have a family, you've got a career, you've got
projects, a hobby.
These projects, right? And the most fatiguing thing in your life is recreation. It's like, oh my really God, we've had all of this awesome movie watching. No, but the comment is that's how I feel with football during the football season, and I'm ready for that, to come back.
I am too. I feel like especially on the weekends outside of streaming, that I am just searching for something to do. Yeah. And I'm ready for our post games. I'm ready for our 4-hour-long Tuesday night recap of what happened on Tuesday or on Sunday.
To be annoyed by it, to be tired of it. We watched so much football this week.
Somehow we would go till 1:00 in the morning, and we're just like, we gotta go.
Yeah. Now we want to just stay up all night doing it.
I'm ready to break down new film, man. I'm ready to see these rookies in action. We've been hearing a lot about them, through the grapevine. Tony, you kind of mentioned before the show. We're kind of here and there getting some news. The reporters aren't necessarily on the field like they used to anymore. So the information that we get is, kind of nil. It's you take what you can get. But we have heard some good things coming out, and I'm sure we're going to talk about them tonight. I mean, things are starting to happen. Once football starts, I feel like it's gonna feel like it never left. Almost, it's gonna feel normal, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Tonight's show is about I've had trouble. I've always had trouble keeping count of the episodes. I can't count, guys. We're about 30 episodes deep already into the season. 29, 30, right in that range. We start the season the week after the Super Bowl is when our podcasting season shifts, right? Tonight's show is Carolina training camp chin check. Chin check and you don't stop. Chin check and you don't stop. That's right. We're going to be talking about Jeremy Chinn, or Jeremy Chinn, as some people like myself call him, as being the name that was predominant in the media today. Matt Rhule is excited about it, and the reason we're talking about Jeremy Chinn is because the Panthers have not had an answer at strong safety since Mike Minter left, a consistent answer. And Jeremy Chinn was a really high prospect to your man Cody Lashney on this show. Is that he, as soon as this pick was made, was gushing about it from the beginning, so we're hearing his name. There's also news continuing to flow throughout the secondary and the questions about what the corner rotation is going to be like, who's the starting two, what's the depth going to be like. We continue to hear good news out of the offense right now, all we're hearing is good news, but you should only be hearing good news at this point. Right? Is the team is controlling all the media. They're controlling the tone of everything, it sounds like. And this is the time where everybody can be great, right? You have no losses at this point. So we're kind of bursting at the seams with optimism a little bit. But we're ready to see this team. So go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. Be a part of the show. The number's 252-228-5098. Join in the conversation. Go ahead and call in to see what your thoughts on the Matt Rhule comment on Jeremy Chinn was, as well as who do you think the Panthers are going to be able to start at corner? Will Dante Jackson and Eli Apple be enough? Will a young guy need to step into that rotation, or will the Panthers ultimately have to continue to pad the roster with maybe a late free agent pickup? What's on your mind? We want to know. And now I'm going to turn the mic over to you guys. Before we get into the minutia news of training camp, I just want to kind of, as we're trying to find our, kind of gauge where we're at, that the reason I brought up the preseason game is I didn't even know until my friend told me that it would have been the third week of the preseason. Like, my entire timeline of where we are at camp, where the team is at, when our first game is, I'm completely discombobulated. So I want to ask you, and I'll start with Cody, is what's on your minds right now in discombobulated football world? What have you been thinking about related to the Carolina Panthers and the NFL coming in tonight's show?
Well, I'm wondering, kind of thinking about the preseason. I don't think we're ever going to see 4 preseason games ever again. I think that, maybe COVID was the catalyst for these games kind of being axed. Maybe they might go back to 1 or 2, once there's no concerns about spreading corona or whatnot. But I've been wondering, what is the long-term impact going to be on sports? So, like, now that the NBA and the NHL have all moved their seasons back and they're starting at a different time, and now they're going to finish at a different time, like, have the sports schedules forever been rearranged because of this? Like, now are we going to have a scenario where every year we're going to have the same kind of sports around the same time? Like, I've just been trying to think, what are the lasting repercussions that we're experiencing that we might not be aware of yet? If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
No, it does. And one of the things you look at is, does it affect the baseball season? I know we could go to different sports right away. The accelerated baseball season with the extended postseason. Basketball starting later. I know that Greg's a basketball fan. I know that hardcore basketball fans have wanted basketball to start in December anyway, from the beginning. But ultimately, I think the deepest changes are going to come in college sports right now. And you got to wonder if college sports are effectively going to recover in a way that they, are we going to weed out, the mid-level programs and beyond just college football, but basketball as well. I think that's where I'm looking at, like, going to be the most dramatic of changes this year and potentially in the short future.
Right. No, I actually agree with you 100% on that. I think, adding to it, I don't think that pro sports will change. I think that after this pseudo basketball, baseball, football, and NHL season are over, I think it'll all go back to normal. I think they'll start their regular times. Football's not going to be affected. Hopefully, it's going to be about the same season, minus maybe preseason. But as far as the sports go, I mean, when you got guys making millions of dollars a year, I think they can be all right 1 year without having a 6-7 month break. Like, they'll be okay. I mean, basketball goes on for quite a while. It's October through June, so it's most of the year. But I'm sure most of these guys would rather go out there and play anyway, especially because they had that extended break. But as far as college goes, I agree, Tony. I think that it's going to affect the college game tremendously because curriculum in college is planned around sporting sometimes, isn't it?
Well, in many ways their eligibility is, right? Okay. So they got to be in school at certain times. They got to be full-time students. So, like, when you have, if you're a football student, you really only have to be eligible 2 semesters in a way.
Yeah.
Right. And then those other semesters, they're trying to pack in classes, pull their GPAs up. For me, I'm thinking more of travel. I'm thinking the scope of these college sports. And really, is this going to expose a sort of dirty underbelly economically of these big multi-billion-dollar organizations?
I think so, and I wanted to actually address something because I think that it's kind of, I think we all know it happens, but nobody's ever going to actually come out publicly as a school and say this. But you know that a lot of these star players get a break on their scores, like on their testing and grades and things like that, so that they can maintain that scholarship that's required, whatever the GPA requirement is to maintain a scholarship. So I'm really curious of how that's going to, impact some of these seniors that aren't going to be playing. Now, all of a sudden, the school doesn't have to cater to their GPAs or anything like that. So these professors, these teachers are not going to be kind of coerced into giving these guys a little bit of a lighter workload than other students. So I'm really interested not only from the economical, but the actual educational aspect of things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The education has always been, and look, this is somebody who's worked in these institutions, is that it's always been honest on the academic side. Is like very rarely do you have people that are really bending. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are certainly instances of that, but you don't have people going overboard. But really, the whole programs are built on kind of a farcical academic thing. Is that if you have an army of tutors, and we're like, we got to do this 3-page paper together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's going to get done. And if you just think about it, is that if you're really going to take a full-time load in college, it's supposed to be like a full-time job. And I promise you that college football players are working more than a full-time job already. So there's just simply so many hours in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't even want to call the integrity of it, but going back, just kind of circling this back to Cody, what are you eyeing? You brought this question up.
Yeah.
What are the angles that are kind of the impetus for this question? Maybe what you're thinking about.
Well, so there's 2 different things, and I want to touch on one thing briefly because the chat is already talking about it. Jordan Scarlett has been released, and one more thing before I get to the thing that I sent you that I want to talk about is, again, man, I feel like we're going through this thing where who Panthers? Maybe it's Matt Rhule, maybe it's Marty Hurney. No, maybe it's David Tepper still giving out all the marching orders to everyone. It's like, if this is another busted late round pick by Marty Hurney,
it wasn't even a late round; it was a 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So
how many fourth rounds actually?
5th round.
How many fourth?
Right? No, I understand.
I mean, it wasn't an early pick, but it wasn't a 6th or a 7th.
Well, you don't expect a 4th round pick to be an all.
Who was our 4th round pick this year?
This year was
It was after Jeremy Chinn, right?
Yeah,
was it
Stanley Oliver, I think.
Okay. I feel like we're usually
Jody. Lost y'all, yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay, so it's not me.
Oh, there he is. Oh,
Cody.
Oh no.
Back out. You know what's happening. Your voice has got all
delayed.
downish. His voice got downish.
And it delayed there for a second too.
Oh yeah.
He said something and then his video. Hold on, let's see.
All right, is that better?
It's delayed.
Is that better?
Yeah,
it is, but you're delayed.
I'll be right back.
All right.
I'll be right back.
But yeah, his I guess the question was about the Jordan Scarlett and who actually released him and everything along those lines. And a lot of people were saying, let's start to die on that hill. I mean, the reality of the situation is, yes, there was promise with Jordan Scarlett, and I think we wanted Jordan Scarlett to be something. But when Bonifant got named the backup over top of him, I think that was writing on the wall that he was not at the standard that he needed to be, right? And so I don't think it's a problem that he got. Honestly, I don't blame Hurney. I mean, how many of our 4th round, 5th round picks actually make it, out of their rookie contract with us?
Well, I think okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
Am I better? Is that better? Okay.
You're still a little delayed with your video and your mic, though.
You're good.
Late, so, all right. Pretty much the only thing I was saying is that I'm upset that it's another guy that didn't really get a chance to shine in this system, and now he's out the door. And again, it goes back to that thing: who's making the decisions? It goes back to that confusion that we keep on talking about. Who's making the decision here? Is that Matt Rhule that said, okay, well, this is a guy that was left over from before I was here. He doesn't fit what we're doing. Maybe we like Bonifant better. Give him the axe. Or is this a Marty Hurney decision? Based on the number of players you're allowed on the roster, or was this to try and keep another player? Like, I don't know what goes into it, but it represents another player that had a lot of potential and could have been good for us. And now it's, well, whatever, see you next time. Like, I'm worried about how many players are going to continue to go and come through our door that way because of our GM.
I agree with you on the worrying about how many other players it's going to happen for. But in this particular situation, when you have Christian McCaffrey, when you have arguably the best running back in the NFL.
Mike Davis is actually the name they're all interested in right now.
All I'm saying is that guy's not going to get a lot of attention, right? I mean, seriously, if we put Scarlett on the field more and he did not produce, what are you going to say? You're going to say, oh, we have Christian McCaffrey. Why are they not using him? Why are they using Scarlett? It's kind of a lose-lose situation either way. But honestly, I'll take the downside of Christian McCaffrey over the upside of Scarlett any day of the week. So for me, that particular position, it's a little bit different story.
When it comes, I think what Cody is kind of even getting at though, is that it's not even about the cut.
It's about the pattern.
Right. It's about why did we draft someone who is going to be so easily cut, discarded. Now we do have to just say this is that it's really a little difficult to gauge if this is going to be the norm.
Yeah.
Or if as we go forward with the new regime, because clearly they are not interested in keeping anybody associated with the previous regime.
Yeah, and I agree to some degree. I think there is still some that's out there, but one of the things that I think that is important with all of this is sorry, I was trying to pay attention to the chat. The Earl Thomas thing. Anyway, so that kind of got me distracted. Somebody else go ahead because I'm really thinking about this Earl Thomas thing now.
Okay.
Well, no.
Yeah, I mean, and we come back to this and I saw we were both involved in a Twitter, just a retweet thing today, talking about the potential greatness of this draft class. Right, so someone put out this, I think it was Panthers Culture, or he retweeted somebody this, and it was like, if Derek Brown is awesome, Jeremy Chinn is like the man, like they're starting to say is, and Gross Matos is like, if we hit on all three of these, this is an epic draft. On your first 3 picks, and the rest suck, then it is a great draft. But we've been looking at our past drafts, and we've hit on some people every now and then, but really what the problem is that we haven't hit on enough 4th P picks. Right now, if you go back and you look at the draft picks for the Carolina Panthers over the last, you can go back to 2015. I would be remiss to see how many are on the dang team still.
Do we know who, because they're saying the move was to make room for the punter. Well, when we put Pilardi on injured reserve, we made room for another punter. So who did we sign at that point? Because really, if we look at it from that perspective, we didn't sign another person in place of the punter. So who we signed when there was an open roster spot is who we really signed in place of Scarlett. So who is that? Do we know?
In place of him? No.
Basically, because they're saying right now, we waived Scarlett so that we can sign this punter. Well, if Pilardi
Well, I
is
tell
not
you,
on the
that
roster-
was probably the most necessary signing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's my question, though. If Pilardi's not a part of the actual roster anymore,
Right. Don't you get a break on the roster anyway?
which means they signed somebody else that wasn't a punter after they took him off of the roster.
And
So
they thought
whoever
this
that
lame
was-
ass was going to do good. Yeah.
whoever that was is actually the person replacing Scarlett or taking Scarlett's roster spot, not this punter kicker. So I'm really curious as to who we felt was a better and more solid selection than our fifth round draft pick, Jordan Scarlett, that we signed after Pilardi was placed. I'm curious who that person is because I don't know.
We could have cut, almost needed to cut a starter to get a punter. Cody, last week you were talking about the punter and the ice up of him kicking over the wall. Basically just hitting some random dude in the side of the head walking down Mint Street or whatever.
He did it again, right?
Yes, he did it again. The next day he did it again. But
Wow.
I
Is this
have...
the same guy?
Yeah, that's why they went and did this. When they said they had to clear room for an extra punter, it's because this guy sucked so much.
An extra, so we have more punters on. We have more than one.
I
Punter
think
on our
they're
team
bringing
right now?
in competition from this guy because he can't kick.
What?
Cody, I can solve this problem though. He just needs to look at the side, kick it to the sideline.
Yeah, because
If
then
he
it's not gonna go
aimed
where
at
you
the
want. Yeah.
coach, he would kick it straight
Yeah.
down the center. It's almost like me playing golf. I suck so bad at golf. If I really start hooking it, I'll do something crazy, look 100 and whatever degrees this way and hit it and hope it comes way back around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
It's like taking a piss after they wanted to. It just shoots everywhere. You have to aim in a different direction.
all right.
Linebacker Stanford.
So-
is
oh,
who we
yeah.
signed.
What's his name?
Linebacker Stanford is what Matt knows nothing said. So I'm really curious because I think Mike's right. I think that that's depending upon what our linebacker room looks like, he's probably not going to be on the 53-man roster, which indicates to me that they intended on cutting Scarlett even before the season. So I think this was just a preemptive cut. I mean, I don't know who this linebacker Stanford is that we've gotten.
not it. I don't know either. All right, I asked
Sounds like a
everybody
somebody.
what was on their mind. For Cody, it's how sports are going to change amidst COVID. CK, anything on your mind in the sports world come in tonight's show?
I mean, honestly, I think the thing that we've all kind of had on our mind, and that's the Earl Thomas news. I mean, if we had one area that we felt like we need the most help, where would it be?
Not there anymore. We got
You don't
Jeremy
think in the
Chinn.
secondary?
I don't know. I don't want to.
Jeremy Chinn, the way he's gaining weight, they're definitely or something. Like he's what has he been playing at? Because it's not been safety. They've been giving him reps somewhere else, haven't they?
I don't know. I mean, I
have a
thought that was
like,
FA putting on all the weight.
Matt Rhule said Chinn is going to play a lot for us. Said he would likely be a starter today. He plays really hard and plays really physical and is extremely coachable. Now, I don't necessarily know where
What
that
that
means
means.
we're going to play him. I'm assuming we're going to play him at nickel. Because,
Nickel, that'd be, yeah.
because a lot of tight ends are starting to line up there. And Jeremy Chinn is, 6'3", 230 something pounds. He's going to be able to match up with those bigger body tight ends that we're going to go against, and he's going to allow us to do different things based on him being in that alignment. And plus, it lets us have Shaq on the field readily. Matt Rhule has been saying that Andre Smith has looked good in practice. So, our linebacker core may be a little bit better than advertised. So,
Yeah. I feel like I remember hearing something not playing the safety position. But that nickel position, yeah, makes sense now. Maybe that's what it is, or maybe I've heard him
MC
tell-
Mike V thinks you're right. Right? Who knows? I mean, that's one of those. He could go It can go in either direction. We probably need help in all directions. So either way. But when it comes to Earl Thomas, ugh. Oh, hold on. It says we're back. Is we
Looks
back? Good. Is we back? Let me see.
Yeah, the chat room is.
You're right. I mean, who knows? I mean, that's one of those. I don't know. We're delayed on where we are live. Hopefully, the buffer was only drop frames
we
detected.
We just skipped ahead.
Why are y'all doing this to me? Why does it say Streamlabs detected drop frames over a few seconds ago? What does this mean? That's it.
That just means the internet was typically.
Yeah, I think we're good now. My video is back up.
Okay. Yeah, no, I got nothing. I got zero interest in the old Earl Thomas at this point. And not because, is that if you can't fit in on the Ravens right now, with a chance to win, and like
if you can't adapt, you can't put yourself in a position to be coachable on a team that was inches away from the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah. So, all right, Greg, anything on your mind specifically? Sports world.
I don't know if it's back yet. I think.
Oh, okay. All right. So on my, when it comes to the sports world, is fantasy football actually.
Yeah.
Now that all the gambling has been legalized and we can all watch commercials for DraftKings, we can buy stock in it, right?
Yeah.
Publicly traded companies. How is fantasy football going to look this year? I'm in a draft right now. Are you guys excited about fantasy football? I'm not doing the C3 Fantasy Football League because of the uncertainty, and it's a complicated league. It's not a normal league where
that you have to worry about with it. Yeah.
Well, where Yahoo is just going to do it for you. But are you guys going to be playing fantasy? And do you have any? Is it even on your radar yet?
I mean, I am playing in a free league, and it is honestly just so that I can have something to do, if nothing else. That's going to give me the opportunity to actually.
Why is it COVID that has you unfantastic?
Dude, I don't think it's that. I think my mindset right now, it's just been like this is supposed to be a break, right? I think right now having sports for me is going to be relaxing. And when you start adding fantasy into that, it starts to become just like what we passed, 6 months, which is just online consumption and just working. Like for me, it's like, doing the stream. Oh, no, there you go. Okay, sorry, it froze on my side again.
It's doing it, yeah. We're gonna have to speed the show up tonight, it seems like.
But I think it has a lot to do with just how this past 4 or 5 months being stuck at home has already impacted us. The last thing I think I want to do is spend more time just having that other content consumption when all we've been doing is dealing with Netflix, YouTube, doing this. Now watching sports, I want it to be a break from all of that. And I think fantasy is gonna kind of bring me right back to where I was, where I'm just staring at my phone, setting up my lineup, researching people. And that normally is fun, but right now I think we've just done that for so long.
It makes it more of a chore now than it's ever been.
Yeah,
like it's another thing that takes up time than it being something that you want to spend your free time doing. I get that.
Yeah, and it's hard to prepare for this year.
But I've been talking about running my fantasy league or debating whether I'm going to or not, and everybody I've talked to has been like, well, it's going to be the year of the waiver wire because you don't know what's going to happen with anybody. Yeah. There could be a guy who decides he wants to play, and then 2 weeks later is like, oh, no, you know what? I'm afraid of COVID, and I don't want to do it, which, that's his thing if he wants to do that. But you never know what's going to happen with this year. And I don't even think I'm going to run my league this year. I think I'm just going to play daily fantasy.
That's what Mike Vella was saying is, and one of the things that you don't have to worry about. Imagine if you're in the fantasy football you're the hunt, and all of a sudden you got Russell Wilson, he's killing it, and he gets COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And like your star, the fantasy rosters don't have enough padding. Injuries were already our killers as it was.
Yeah.
Right.
So is that now you got this? Fantasy. I'm trying to do this draft. I am trying to get my head in it, and I am not very prepared.
Yeah, right.
And but the cool thing about this year when it comes to fantasy is I'm looking at it, I almost feel like we're about to get a purge of old talent and an injection of new.
Yeah.
Like the receivers, there are so many receivers that are going to be so good in this league that are number 2s, number 3s right now.
Yeah.
Like when these guys, like, and think about this, we're excited about Robbie Anderson in Carolina, and this mug ain't going to get drafted till like the 10th. It's crazy. There's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of receivers that continue to come into the league. It's going to be fun and interesting. So that's on my mind. All right, let's just keep plowing through because the streams are kind of sucking at this moment. Oh, the other thing that was on my mind, too, is I read a account from training camp from Miles, whatever, who is the Panthers, one of the Panthers writers for the Panthers.com. And he just talked about how Brown and KK look kind of man amongst boys look. Like he said, he used it as they got the look, those guys that got the look when they get off the bus.
Yeah.
And like they just look like they're gonna be badass. So I am excited about that. Is that the defensive tackle situation, and the other that has been creeping into my mind is the idea is F.A. Obata beefing up to play a role where he can be more effective sliding on the inside, and almost. I wonder if he is going to be trying to mimic Greg Hardy's game.
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, apparently,
Not a bad game to mimic, yeah.
Right.
Dude's put on
Minus
15 to 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he can make a real transition on the inside, yeah, that's a good thing to me. I mean, because you have to remember, K'Wan Short is not an every down defensive lineman. Or, I mean, at least he hadn't been under Ron Rivera. They would have a bunch of different packages where they would sub him in and out. And you have to do that. I mean, defensive players, they're big guys, like Tony was saying. They come off the bus big. So, you have to give other guys different reps. And someone made the point of saying Eric Armstead, the guy that the 49ers paid, he's a fantastic defensive tackle. F.A. Obata is the same height, the same weight, I think the same arm length. And, I mean, if he doesn't have that natural bendability to bend the edge like edge rushers are supposed to have, then yeah, I'm all for him using his power, size, and strength, moving him inside and letting him be a disruptor. I'm all for it.
Well, I like when you can have a defensive end that can play tackle like, or a tackle that can play in like. So you could put some packages out there where you could see this. Imagine if they wanted to, like, we got to get this sack. Like, no matter what, we are going to be blitzing here. Imagine if you put as your front four a Gross Matos, Brown, Short, and F.A., and then you ran as a 6 pass standing up Brian Burns. I mean, a 5th Brian Burns standing up. You got size, power, strength, explosiveness. I mean, we are going to get this. It's 3rd and 6. We are coming for you. We're sending the dog. You don't even have to send the dogs. You just send those 5.
Yeah. Our defensive line doesn't have a lot of experience, but I'll be damned if they don't have a lot of talent.
Yeah. If this Gross Matos, and I'm just not overexcited about Gross Matos until I just have seen defensive ends generally take a while in the NFL. So I am going to say this, is I don't want to be like he's got to be great this year for me to give up on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need that out of him. I'd rather is hit me up in 3 years, and I need Gross Matos having 10 sacks in 2022. That's what I need. That's like my measuring point. Is his third year is this mug wrecking shop, because there's a very small group of defensive ends that just do it from the get-go.
Especially not third rounders too.
Right, right. Second.
But second rounder, yeah. But my thing is, you're right. I don't want him to take off. I mean, like I don't mind if he doesn't take off immediately. Give him a few years, but he can't be garbage either.
Correct. He can't be. Well, you know what? He's got to be better than. And here's a name for you, Coney Ely. Coney Ely is to Gross Matos. Second round pick. I think Gross Matos is more speed. Coney Ely was more big boy. I think Coney Ely came in a lot bigger. Coney Ely, though.
Gross Matos is a big boy too, man. That's 6'5", 265 pounds. I mean, he's a big dude. I don't know. I wasn't looking a lot into Coney Ely at that time. I don't remember a lot of his college plays when we drafted him, but I do know I have watched a ton.
I think he was Missouri or he came out of the same Missouri. He came out of the same place that Greg Hardy went to school at.
Yeah,
y'all need to go to bed.
Go Missouri.
Good night. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, you're right though. Defensive ends do take a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. But listen, man, I think Matt Rhule has said it, and I do think this is true. We're going to play a lot of our younger players, a lot of guys that normally might have the leeway of having an up or down year. This year, they're not going to be afforded that. This is a young team, and the young guys are going to have to go out there and play, and cut their teeth in the real NFL.
Coney Ely was listed at 6'4", 275. That might be his playing weight now. But and not before people shit on Coney Ely being a disaster. That mug was almost a Super Bowl MVP. Right. If we win the Super Bowl, he was the MVP. He had the same exact game as Von Miller did that year. Mm-hmm. He was on the losing team. His game might have arguably statistically been better than Von Miller's because he had an interception.
Now I want to ask you though, like realistically, sidetrack. Do you think that if we did win that Super Bowl, that Cam Newton would be the one who didn't get the MVP? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I think they would. I think they got to give it to Coney Ely if we win it that year.
But it depends. If Cam had put the team on his back and led us back to victory and it depends.
Right, but if we kicked a field goal for the win or something like that,
then it would be Ely.
Or a stop. Yeah. That game he had was sick. It was like 2 strip sacks, an interception.
Yeah,
it was insane. But then he didn't.
Our defense as a whole was just
now it's all right.
Unbelievable, bro.
Here's the parallel. This is how we can find. I can find a bridge between any player in Carolina Panthers history and today. Coney Ely, second round defensive end pick. In a time where you're coming out of the Greg Hardy era, you're trying to find new defensive ends. A little gross mitosis in a way, mitosis. Gross. But then here's the next parallel here, is that Coney Ely, after he had that monster Super Bowl game, was given the reins. Right? He was given the position.
Yeah.
They said next year, and he should have. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't. It seems a logical plan that he's going to start next year. He had a year as a rookie. He had a coming out party. He's got the skill set. We drafted him, this and that. He's going to start. They gave him the position on the silver platter, and then all of a sudden he was in Ron Rivera's shithouse immediately.
He didn't even make it out of preseason, right?
Right? No, yeah, it was immediately people were already on his ass. But my question,
what did we trade him for?
Oh, nothing. To the bit with the Jets, maybe, or the Bills.
No, I thought it was Patriots.
We traded
it was the Patriots.
Third round pick.
That's not terrible. Oh yeah, but here's the connection to today. is that right now this new coaching staff has put some serious words behind some players already that we are not as maybe confident in as they are as a point. Now, Cody, is this a good time to segue to your tweet?
Yeah, I think so. Because to me, this is concern. I mean, I don't know. I want to get your guys' opinion because I don't know how,
like in Chinn, think about
is.
this with Chinn. I got this stupid video playing behind it. Where is it? Of that punter. Well, in one hand, we got them. You know, he's backing up Chinn, and we're sitting there. We're excited about that, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, about Jeremy Chinn, yeah.
Right? And so now that's a vote of confidence. But now tell us what this tweet right here that I'm putting up, or that I put up says, Matt Rhule says there's a lot of guys battling for the second cornerback spot and the nickelback spot. Dante Jackson seems the only player who has solidified his spot as number one.
Yeah, and isn't that a little bit concerning to everybody? I mean, Eli Apple, like we got Eli Apple, and he's not. I mean, this is a guy that was the number one or number 15 pick, I think, by the Giants. Then he has a bunch of craziness that happens up in New York. Then he goes to New Orleans, and he was on a good football team, and that definitely benefited him. But he also drew a ton of penalties. But he was the guy that we brought in to replace James Bradbury. And that's another thing. You know, James Bradbury was a name that we love to kind of, sometimes he's good, sometimes he's terrible. We all remember the Brother Herbert going after him all the time. But that's another guy. That's another guy that we're gonna miss that we don't have. If we don't have that veteran presence of someone that's been here for a while at that corner position, Eli Apple was supposed to be that guy. Am I the only? I mean, is it a little bit too early for me to be concerned about this? Because I'm thinking of it. Why isn't Eli Apple like showing himself to be the number 2 corner? And why haven't we
heard his name at all? Really?
Why is Corn Elder of all people still in conversation to be the number 2 alongside Apple? It doesn't make sense to me.
He likes corn more than apples, I guess.
Yeah,
yeah.
But
He's talking about your mic, Tony.
No, his corn and apples.
No, did you see Ben? He said, Tony, this has been driving me crazy. Your mic is too sensitive. I can barely hear everyone when you speak up. You about to blow my speaker/ears out. Still love you guys.
Tell me these things earlier, dude.
I did tell you. What happens is you get really excited and you go like, oh.
get really yeah.
But it wasn't really about him. He said it drives his wife crazy in the car.
Yeah.
God, guys, y'all got to tell me this more. I can't hear myself. Who said, what did he say? My wife hates football. She lived in what?
No, the other one.
Okay.
If you go all the way up, Ben asked,
like,
and then
when I'm in the car listening, it drives my wife crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. You know what drives me crazy is this fucking microphone situation. I've been trying to get it right since 2014.
Dude, my microphone's still trying to fuck with me in the middle of podcasts. It's not fun. But hey, Blake Bettis said Corn just needs to be shucked off this team.
Oh,
would you have preferred Corn to John or to Jordan Scarlett?
I do think it's disappointing that we didn't hear more about. We haven't heard more about Eli Apple. You know, they kind of pumped him up like it was going to be that. I'm surprised Dante. People are looking so high. Think about this: is Dante's about to be our number 1 corner?
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
and by the way, this is a guy who's not very disciplined in man coverage, and we're in the division with Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski's here now. Dude, imagine 6'7" Gronk on like 5'9" Dante Jackson.
That's gonna be Chinn. Is that I'm more worried about Mike Evans, Dante Jackson. Julio on Dante Jackson.
Calvin Ridley is another one. Now, what's the guy that New Orleans brought in? The dude from San Francisco.
Oh, I don't even know. I didn't realize. Breaking news to me.
Yeah, the receiver who used to play for the 49ers, and now he's on the Saints.
49ers.
He was with Denver before that.
Oh, yeah.
Emmanuel Sanders.
Yes,
Emmanuel Sanders.
Okay.
Yeah, he's he's in New Orleans now.
Man, I was hoping Carolina was going to get him last year when he was available.
But my point is, this is not necessarily the right division to have a questionable secondary in. You know, it's that could end up being bad, and that's why I want you guys' opinion. Am I worrying about this too early? Because I'm thinking, man, that's not what I want to hear. That's definitely not what I want to hear.
Well, I'm going to write these receivers down real quick, and then I want to see how scared I look.
Did you expect any different, though?
I mean,
yeah,
I think Eli Apple should have had an opportunity for that number one. I don't think that Dante should have locked down that position immediately. Like, I mean, I think he's built to be a number 2 cornerback. I don't think he was ever built to be the top dog. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Cody, would you agree with that?
Well, he was yes and no. He has the physical ability to do that kind of stuff, but he isn't built like your traditional shutdown corner. Yeah. He's a little bit smaller, but he does have the speed to do it. He has the hips to do it, and he has the intelligence to do it. Early on in 2018, I mean, he was starting to look like a shutdown corner, and he's very intelligent and when to break on balls. Yeah. And I mean, he really is good at what he does. It's just a discipline issue with him. A lot of times he'll get undisciplined, and we've said this before. Last season, when things started to go bad for a football team, it went bad for everyone. Like, everyone just fed off this everyone playing like shit vibe, and that went over to Dante as well. So I understand people that are like, well, why is he our number one? Why is it a guarantee that he's our number one shutdown corner? He hasn't necessarily proven that yet.
All right, this is driving me nuts. Is it any better now, guys?
I mean, you sound fine to me. It's hard to tell.
Am I blowing you out, CK?
No, you sound good.
Okay. It's on my mind.
You sound good.
Can't get it out of my head. It's like
you may just need to actually get like a filter or something that may dampen, because I don't know if it's necessarily how loud you are, how close you are. I think it might also be how sensitive the mic is.
In the chat room, Panthers guy FSU says, I think our secondary will be good. Burris, Boston, Robinson, Apple, Green, Jackson, Pride, Chinn, Thomas Oliver. My problem with all of that is what name in there has proven to be dependable. Like a good,
what name have we had in the last 5 years that's been proven dependable? Is that I'm kind of with them there. Is that in some ways that's not the worst group we've had. The only thing that is concerning is that our corners are all tiny.
Yeah.
Eli Apple's all right. Eli's got some all right size. If it's not Eli Apple and Dante Jackson starting, I'm going to be surprised.
Yeah. And very disappointed. What did we pay for Apple?
Nothing.
Like $1 million. It was like...
Yeah. I'm almost wondering if I kind of have a feeling, and this is so stereotypical of me. It's not even stereotypical. It's more prejudicial, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this coaching staff might like Dante Jackson. Dante Jackson's a very charismatic person. Like, when you hear him talk, when you hear him, he's sharp, like, he's smart. And I'm not saying I don't know if these other guys are or aren't smart, but Eli Apple, when you hear him, it's a little basic. You know, it's just like, I mean, he's not saying anything wrong. He's not saying anything dumb. He's not saying, it's just kind of simple. And I wonder if they like Dante Jackson because they really think he is coachable underneath. You just got to break that. You got to find a way to tap into it.
Yeah. I think it's a talent thing. I think he has the potential to do so much. And Matt Rhule likes those really athletic players. And he fits that bill for them. So if they can kind of coach him out of some of his negative tendencies and the things that get him burned, those dirty eyes that they have when they're looking at things that they shouldn't, if they can coach him out of that, they feel like that upside is still good enough to warrant him at that position. My problem is when a Panthers guy says like Justin Burris, like, well, Justin, who is that? Like, what is he? Like, that's not a name that makes me feel good about anything.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't feel good about it, but here, in defense of that, is that we could have been talking about who are those same 4 names we have been cycling on the practice squad and in training camp. They're always hurt in the secondary. We've never had any names that are even better than Burris. I'm trying to think. There was these couple of guys that were these safeties. I remember Chocolate Wonderland loved one of them. And it was like the dude's always hurt. The coaches are always talking about how he's really practicing hard and then nothing becomes of it. Burris did start. No, these were guys. Yeah, somebody will come up with it in a couple of minutes. I'll find it. Yeah. Now it says raise the mids. Oh my gosh, y'all!
You know what?
Crazy.
You know what I'm thinking as well. When I was thinking about Chinn and him playing a different position, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that he was after every practice picking Luke's brain, like asking him advice and all of this. I mean, I know that could be interpreted a lot of different ways, but it does seem as though it's the possibility of him playing a different position than just the safety position that I think we were anticipating him playing. Weren't we thinking he was just going to play safety?
Well, we didn't know.
Yeah. I think it depends on how the rest of the team, pans out. But
I'm so mad right now. I'm so mad.
Oh, bro.
Ben asked us.
You don't even know how mad I am right now. I'll tell you about it here in a little while. Moment, but
anything else going on? Any other Panthers news or anything you guys want to talk about when it comes to? Oh, we got some cats call. Let's see what the cat call is going to say. We've got 2 of them tonight. Let's see what they got.
Podcast, how y'all doing? G. Cavassier.
What's up, G?
It's been a while, but I've been busy with my family. You know what I'm saying? Been really, really busy. Okay, I'm going to talk about the elephant that's in the room. You guys probably already spoke on this. I don't know. But if not, I'm going to say it. I think we should try to go sign Earl Thomas. Now, hear me out, man.
I agree.
That dude is a hell of a damn safety, man. For real. That dude is a good-ass safety. I know he had a bad take with Seattle. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember that shit when he fucking flicked the damn coaching staff off when he was getting carted off, which was classic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then we all know what happened in Baltimore. He punched another damn teammate. But the way I look at it, you get somebody with experience like that, you know what I'm saying, to boost up our damn secondary with that pass rush that hopefully we'll have and can stop the run, our front 4, hopefully, But, man, you put him next to damn Trey Boston, and everybody's talking about, we drafted Jeremy Chinn. I haven't seen Jeremy Chinn yet in action, but I think he's going to be okay. My thing is, put him in the damn nickel, man. Put him in the nickel. And with Phil Snow's defensive scheme, oh, my God, man, Thomas will fit in that shit perfectly, man. I really think, man. And before I go, if we sign Roman Harper, who came from New Orleans, and he came to the damn Panthers, a damn Saint, played for the damn Panthers, and lost in the Super Bowl, unfortunately. If we picked his ass up, hey, why can't we get Earl Thomas? And then, we had situations in the past when teammates fighting. Y'all remember when Steve Smith punched Ken Lucas? You remember when Cam Newton got in the scuffle? You know what I'm saying? With Josh Norman. I really do think that he could be a good addition to this team. So give me your thoughts on that. Please don't kill me. Please don't. And always remember, keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Nah, we would never kill you, man. That's the legendary G. Cavassier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely can't kill him because I was talking to a guy at work about this today, about Earl Thomas, and how I can't believe the Cowboys never picked him up, and how he's a guy out there that I wouldn't mind checking out, giving a shakedown and seeing how he could fit with this team. Because you're right, even though there is a slight attitude problem, perhaps, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a reoccurring thing. I think that's one of the only real incidents I've seen that's kind of outrageous in his whole career, but the talent is immense. And
You don't think him getting held up by his girlfriend after he got caught in a three-way with his brother and another chick is something that's outrageous?
I didn't know that. So
they also arrested his wife for beating up on him or something.
Yeah,
there was a domestic violence on her against him.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay, those are a little different. I have to look into those, but let me retract what I'm saying right here. I
actually think
talent.
The least controversial thing when it comes to Earl Thomas was him flicking the coaching staff off.
That's the only thing I knew.
He wanted a new contract, and the reason he wanted a new contract was because you could get hurt at any moment, and he goes out there. He buckles to the fans. He buckles to the organization and blew it out. You know what I'm saying? He would have been the highest paid safety. That was I feel for those guys at that moment when you get suckered into, play for the team, this and that, and you get screwed in the end. It happened to this guy, Javon Walker. All right, Javon Walker was a Green Bay Packer wide receiver when Brett Favre was there. And Javon Walker had a couple of seasons. He was so electric. So electric. And he sat out in training camp, and he was going to hold out. And Brett Favre comes out and pleads for him to put basically the team ahead of himself, just guilt tripped. He got guilt tripped. So he stops the holdout, and the second week blows out his ACL and never got paid. And so that was the one thing. But do you think Earl Thomas really helps? Are we at a point right now where that's what we're going to need to be good?
Okay, man. I'm gonna pinpoint two comments. Trill one says we don't need any more safeties. Damn, y'all quit name chasing. And I agree with that to an extent, right? Because it's listen, Earl Thomas is an all-pro free safety. Okay, no one is denying that the Carolina Panthers are going to be a way better football team having that kind of dog in the backfield that can just cut off an entire half of the football field. A shutdown free safety, in my opinion, is sometimes even more important than a shutdown cornerback. And I really mean that. And that's kind of taboo amongst certain scouting circles, but I really do mean that. So, of course, Earl Thomas on this football team would be incredible. But then at the same time, it's we do this thing. We know the Panthers aren't going to sign him. We know that Matt Rhule is okay with this being a young football team. Right. And you top on all the other things that are outside of football. It just it doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up. Yes, would we be a better team? Of course we would. It's Earl Thomas. But it's just that's not reasonable.
I have a problem chasing names at a time where I don't really think it moves the needles
enough. Yeah.
He said I got loud again. Okay.
No, and while you're doing that, one of the things somebody else was saying is, and I don't blame Mike for thinking this way. He said we handled Eric Reed with his, his stances and his politicized, viewpoints that he may have had. I said, nope, we didn't. They cut him the moment this new regime got it. So if you think about it, like
he's not playing for you right now.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, I do have to pinpoint Panthers God in the chat room is trying to sell us that Burris has more promise than Earl Thomas. And come on, son. Come on, son. What are we doing?
It's a bold statement.
Guys,
What are we doing?
he is the forever optimist. You can't take that away from him.
He's
Right.
I
the
know,
forever
I know.
optimist. He's actually the forever optimist about things that we don't really think like are not optimistic about.
He's like me. He likes to bet on bold like predictions that may not come true, but if they do, you're going to win big. So
He basically is like every position that he has that we or anything that we don't like is like his Cameron Artist pain. Just loves.
okay, I got you. That's a good
You know
point.
what I'm saying? Like he is that if you say this, if you say this dude's trash, he's gonna say that guy's a Hall of Famer. You know, Cam Newton was great. Nope, Teddy Bridgewater's better. And you know, maybe he's right. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know enough about Burris. I'm actually excited about him because he's young. He started 10 games for the Browns. He said he wants to get better and make this team better. So yeah, I just don't think that an Earl Thomas helps us and progress. It might, you know, like I'm saying, he might be better than right now today on anybody on the team. But does he help the Panthers get better in 2 years?
Right.
And I don't think we're here anywhere close. Going to be. I mean, maybe we catch lightning in a bottle and win the damn Super Bowl. But I mean, we none of us really believe that. So we're kind of in this to build in the right way. And the one thing I think has been exciting about this roster in a way is that you can't say the team hasn't committed to redoing it. That's the one thing that, if anything, it's unsettling to me, guys, that it has been so drastic at times. But it is cool to say, you know what, we're tearing the shit down. I know this contractor guy, and his favorite, and he's like a master craftsman. Like, he costs a lot of money, and he's very good at building shit. Like, he can cut the straightest line with a skill saw without looking. You know, I mean, he's just amazing. And this dude, his favorite saying is just take a match to it. Just burn that shit down. Like, that's junk. That's shit. Just, you know, and at least we didn't try to put lipstick on a pig. We really did a radical thing. And I like that. So to me, the Earl Thomas just kind of, it would be a step in the opposite direction of that.
It's a fair point.
Yeah. And that's, again, nothing you
I
said
would
is
have liked
wrong.
it last year or 2 years ago. Well,
I just hate that, dude, listen, burn it down mentality or me saying rip the Band-Aid off. Dude, to me, it's like the same thing. If we're changing everything, let's change up everything. That's why I'm mad that Marty Herney didn't get the axe when it was time, man. We were doing the full rebuild, the full transition.
That's the
dude,
one
who is
outlier, isn't it? That's the one thing that doesn't make sense.
No, Marty Herney is so representative of a bygone era. He is quite literally the first general manager that the Panthers. That is right? Marty Herney was the first GM the Panthers ever had, right?
No.
Well, he was the second, right?
He's been there since 2000 or 2001, something like that. Because I think the coaches, there was like some co-general managers to start. We had some big name coaches like original Dom Capers and some things like that. These guys, Seifert, who was the guy that orchestrated or who was big with all of the 49ers Super Bowl. So those guys had so much influence. But yeah, he's been a part of this organization for a long time. And I thought he was going to be the fall guy. I just don't know if it looks like that still.
Yeah, I still think that he's. I think he's set up.
He was still here was because, you know, we're just going to fire him at the end of get through this and then pull in
we thought it was going to happen after the draft, and then that draft happened to be a really good draft, by all accounts.
Right.
Which I think this is very similar to what happened last year. And I think we were all calling for him to be fired before the offseason last year. And he was able to make it through that offseason and make some incredible moves. And we were like, oh, maybe he needs to stick around. And then this happened again this past year. And now we were on the same position. And then the draft happened. And we were like, I mean, we don't hate the draft.
No, it's like a vicious cycle, man. It's like this optimism, hope, and we love these players. Yeah. And then now we're talking about the players that we've cut that we were excited about.
Well, let me ask you, do you think that it comes down to a matter of who else would have had if not Hurney? Like, was there any other GMs out there that had some experience that we could have signed that would have been a good replacement, or that we could have brought on the team that we thought would have matched what we were doing? I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking. I just don't know. Like, maybe that was the mindset of, well, we don't have anybody else right now. Let's see what happens next year and see if something opens up.
So I know that there were people, but even if there weren't people that we know, dude, there are people in the NFL whose names are being floated around right now behind closed doors. Hey, keep a lookout for so-and-so. They're good. Like, these names are already known. There's always someone out there that is ready and willing and capable to try and do and be a part of something new. And I just feel like there isn't much justification now as to why he's still here. But I don't know, dude. I'm just griping about shit that I can't change. Just like my everyday life, man. But I don't know.
I want to ask this one thing because Ben said this. Just do your thing and don't worry about the levels. But Ben, what you don't know is I take medicine for worrying about shit.
You sound good right now. You sound real good right now.
I just changed something to where the microphone setting in Windows was set to 100, like the actual mic, and I backed it down to 85 or 80 something.
You do sound soft.
Yeah, you sound much lower.
I would say
volume.
You sound like I should probably fall asleep to your voice.
Mm-hmm. Read me a story, sir.
But I will say, could you? You're gonna hate me.
You are a Saints fan.
You're gonna hate me because you need to be the leader and interrupt us as well. Just raise it slightly, not all the way to the 100. Raise it slightly, not too much, but you're almost where you need to be.
Yeah, you're a little low. Yeah,
that's good. That's really good.
That's
it.
We hit the sweet spot.
I think you got it. Yep, it's right there.
That's my old face. Oh,
there. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Because even when you got loud, you weren't clipping or anything like that. So that was good. That's good. That's a really good spot.
Oh my goodness! Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. You know what is that? You guys, I got so shook by that. A little higher. I'm right here in the G spot. Right there. I did have the cat calls
in the G spot.
We actually have the real cat calls intro with the first cat call. I just didn't play it right.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty you shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like...
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with a face buried in the snow? I love it because there's such a delay for us. It probably was so off.
Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Charleston, South Carolina. I was wanting to know if y'all think we should go after Earl Thomas.
No.
Out there, probably get him for cheap. He's a good safety, we need safety. And also, like, what do y'all think about the Madden ratings? Madden just came out. I was thinking about buying it. What do you think about Carolina's ratings, the player ratings? I think Cam is at 78. I think Teddy B is at 75. Are any of y'all going to get it? What's y'all's gamer tag? And if any of y'all want to get y'all ass beat in some Madden, tell me where y'all want to do. You want to do it on Xbox? PlayStation? What's up? I get 10 stacks on it. 10 stacks, I mean like $10. But, you know. Which one of y'all got that Teddy B or that Graham Gano D? That's all I want to know. Thanks for letting me call.
I'm glad people are digging my style a little bit. The Teddy BD is taken off. I have multiple people referencing that. The person to play on Madden is my man T Money 1993. All right, Greg, you want some of that? Have you got the new one yet?
I got some skills. No, I haven't yet, but I've got some skills. We're gonna see.
And you know what Greg likes to do is put a 10 stack, and when I say 10 stack, I mean $10 bills, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
$10 bills. So with the Madden ratings, you know what was interesting to me is that Chase Young was superstar rating already. Like he's got the highest rating. He hasn't even played snap yet.
I ain't even mad at it. He's the best defensive end I've ever scouted coming out of college.
Did we mention about Ron Rivera and his lymph?
No, we didn't. We haven't touched on that at all.
So with the caller, he went with the Madden ratings. What was Earl Thomas, which we've already addressed, and now let's turn. Go ahead.
He said Cam was 78 and Bridgewater 75, which is interesting.
Okay, so. I'm okay with that. Actually, I'm not okay. I think both of those should probably. Well, I don't know. I don't know how they factor it in. Cam's about the ball, bro. I'm worried about. I'm not worried about it. I think N'Keal Harry or whatever is going to be a pick this year in fantasy. That's who I'm eyeballing in the late rounds. Is that dude? He's been connecting with Cam a lot in camp, but Ron Rivera announced that he had. I guess it's a type of lymphatic cancer caught very early, and highly treatable, right? Cancer, or treat. As they have good success rates. And I know this seems a little callous in a way, is that he does have good resources available to him. Right, so I don't want to write it off. Is that it's different if you were, I won't say it's not different. The treatment, he's going to have availability of treatment at a level that is probably the top in the world. Unlike maybe if you or I were, and we got to get the local doctor that, do we have the money and the resources? So there's a lot of good things in his favor. Early detection, a cancer that is highly treatable, they have good success rates, and he has the resources to access those needed medical services. And then on top of that is they got Jack Del Rio. And talk about, one of the things I always said with Rivera that I felt like he was a little worried about bringing in guys that could be named interim into his coaching staff.
Jack Del Rio was a good coach too for the Raiders
and for the Jaguars at one point. But here, my friend did ruin Jack Del Rio for me.
Oh no.
Well, he's very political. He's a big Trumper, which I don't care about that even anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't even care who people like. And I'm done. Now, I'm not even getting upset. I don't even get upset. But the guy PFT commenter? He's all over the internet, and he started on Pro Football Talk, and he said, that Jack Del Rio's name translates to jacking in the river, to masturbating in the river.
Does it really?
I mean, think about it. Is Jack in the river? What are you doing? I'm jacking in the river. Del Rio is the river. He's jacking in the river. He's masturbating in the river. That's what his name means.
Dude, that needs to be a thing. Whenever, whenever we start that middle of the season downslide, dude, with Jack Del Rio in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this is that I think he's right. I'm never going to be able to look at him the same. It's kind of like the Teddy BD. It's you just can't look at him the same. It's damn, I got more, all right. I'm giving you more respect, Tammy, right away because you got an alien in your pants. Look, but I mean, it's true.
Nobody has to say that.
That mess was weird. I mean, not weird. I don't know. All right, let's see. We got one more call. So Ron Rivera, good dude. Poor guy, again, in another situation where he has to be the face of an organization dealing with a bunch of shit. You remember that? Is like all the crap that went down in Carolina, he always dealt with it. There was no Dave Gettleman out there. There was no Jerry Richardson taking any of the heat for any of this shit. It was always send out Ron Rivera to make things better. And guess what? He goes to Washington to change the culture, and what is he doing? The same shit. Darius Geis cut. Got to deal with that. He did handle that. I think in retrospect, I think he applied a lot of the Greg Hardy stuff. Is they didn't wait any time. They just let the guys go. See you later. Right. We don't care if we're done. All right, the number's 252-228-5098. Here's the next call.
What's up, C3?
Uh-oh.
Boy
Quiet.
Mike, Supreme Leader, at your service.
What's up, Mike?
Just want to first give a big shout out to my man Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron. Heard about his diagnosis with cancer. Shit sucks, man. Matter of fact, my father just got out of a bout with cancer himself, and he's doing good now. So I wish the best for him as well. Regardless of what whoever thinks about him as a coach and all this football stuff, he's a father and a husband first. So big prayers up for them. So what I think I need to address real quick is something I saw on a Panther fan page, is that there is no reason whatsoever we should even think about picking up Earl Thomas. I'm sure his contract is way too expensive for us. When he clears waivers, he should go to the Cowboys, because they're known for doing that stupid stuff. I don't see any reason for us to pick him up. There were small murmurs of people saying, "Oh yeah, we should pick him up. We need all the help we can get." No, this man's been pushed out of Seattle and now Baltimore. And not only the fact that why would he come to us in the first place? I'm sure he would want to go to a Super Bowl contender. So yeah, I saw that somewhere. I just want to let all the other Panther Nation know that we don't need them. We don't at all. Yeah. So Panther Pride till I die. Keep pounding. Holla at you guys.
Word up, man. Is then I just don't think it's the right time and the right fit for a veteran like that. And the fact that Baltimore let him go where they are going to I'm playing with this Rubik's Cube, by the way.
How's that working out for you?
It's the reason I don't know what G-Spot.
Can I? Hey, on Netflix, they have a documentary about the fastest Rubik's Cubers in the world, like the ones that go to the competitions. And dude, they can finish a Rubik's Cube like that in under 6 seconds.
Yeah, it's insane. I don't understand. I've never done one, period. I've never been able to I'm excited if I just get one side.
The best in the world is an Asian kid who has autism, and he's like the
of course, he's
man.
Like the Rain Man of Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah,
he's exactly that. And off the mic, Blake Pettis. I've been very concerned about Greg's ice up pick from last week. I've turned cameras around backwards. I have double checked the streams.
Oh man, yeah.
Worst nightmare. No. So yeah, I just don't think it's the right time in the fit. Is that if I think Earl Thomas is at this point, if you go and get Earl Thomas, you're willing to say this is that it's enough for he could put us over the hump. But they cut him with a big loss of money on the precipice of being very good, Baltimore. So that tells you something, man. That I think anyway is that where there's smoke, there's fire. I think there's deeper problems behind his menage a trois of transgressions. And I don't know what they are, right? But when you see these people, and they're just continuing, I said the same thing about Josh Gordon. As I gave Josh Gordon a pass after pass after pass, I said we're making something out of nothing, that this and that. And then you know what? It turned out it was worse than what we thought. So I'm starting to worry about that when it comes to, are we going to find out that there are deeper problems than him just punching a teammate and banging out a chick with his brother? Right? I don't know. By the way,
who does that with your brother? Like the last thing, I'm not.
I don't know. I don't have a brother, and I don't think.
Yeah, I don't have a brother. I don't know either. Yeah.
Man, that's a bet. I guess brothers do brotherly
to be
stuff.
To be fair,
right?
I've never mind.
To be fair, I did that when I was 17 with this chick and my brother.
No. I was gonna say that it wasn't even my real brother, but I have a stepbrother, sort of, that I grew up with.
That's a way different scenario. You're totally clear. It's a stepbrother.
You're right.
But brothers do tend to show brothers things. Especially as you're growing up, the older one shows the younger one things. And so I think you start to kind of, like, if you have a brother, 9 times out of 10.
Bridgewater's brother.
Yeah, exactly. But what I mean by that is they show them, a lot of times, their first experience with any type of pornographic videos or anything like that.
Right.
So I think that when you start
their girlfriends,
and what you've done with them, and so the idea of doing that with you while you're, in the same vicinity as your brother could be weird.
We're moving on. Earl Thomas got no more talk on this podcast. That's it. I think
that's it.
When it comes to, there really is nothing to talk about. I'm really upset about the coverage when it comes to training camp. I feel like we should be getting more than this. Particularly, we don't know really a lot of what's... I almost wonder if they're not really practicing as hard. Are they not hitting as much? Are they not doing some of those things that... I don't know. It just seems harder for us to assess where this team is at. I don't know much.
It's very difficult.
I did hear Stephen Weatherly had a good play. Dante Jackson blocked a field goal in this in practice. But I just to have when practice in 2015, 2016, 2017, even in 2018, we were getting play by play, moment by moment updates at a training camp where you didn't even have to go and you could almost watch the whole thing. And now it's just been very sanitary and quiet. That's it. All we got to do now is ice some mugs up. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast. The number's 252-228-5098. We're here on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. And guess what? Is that it might take me 2 hours, but I'm not going to change anything between this week and next week. So my voice may be good. Better than best. The G-spot has been found, folks. Rest easy, relax, and enjoy.
That's right.
Relax and enjoy. This voice is going to put you to sleep.
If anything can be said about tonight, at least Tony found the G-spot.
That's
the only thing that matters.
Like
Tony, so we can all go to bed satisfied. Can you say,
yes.
Pull it out, big boy?
Oh,
wow.
Can you say that, Tony?
No, that would be what she said. I am the finder of the G-spot. I am not the G-spot.
Right. The locator.
Right.
The-
Those locator.
That's your
What you don't know
superhero
is you
name,
are the
locator.
guidance system for the missile.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, enough brotherly love on this podcast. Who you gonna ice up this week? The ice up section. Blake says, "Please take a picture of your mic settings."
Right.
I found out what the problem.
Wait. Is this a sex?
No.
Right.
That was
Send it to
not-
me.
Send
Take a
it.
picture and send it to me.
It's
One of those
it's
mic
like
settings.
getting these mic settings was so sexually satisfying. It's like sliding in my DMs.
Right.
These
You tweet it.
settings.
Yeah.
John Kid
I'm gonna,
Cabrera says Balboni. Tony wants to bone thee. I do like her more than Carolyn Cam. I don't ever see her though. She's like missing.
never.
I mean, have you guys seen anything? Like
Yeah,
Balboni feels like, I'm not gonna talk crap about her because we would like
She's
to be able to have an
basic, bro.
opportunity. She seems a lot more fake than Caroline Cam did, though. Like she doesn't seem like a genuine human being.
More stiff.
Hold on.
more
What's her
hard.
name? What's her name?
Something about
Kathleen Balboni or something like that.
Balboni.
she's,
Yeah, they call her KB.
She's pretty. I think she's pretty.
Catherine Balboni. Let's see.
I'm gonna go first
Do
with
it.
the ISL fit tonight. Do you have that picture I sent? You don't need the whole tweet, just the picture. If not, it's okay because it's self-explanatory.
No, what tweet was this one? No.
Go in our chat. I sent 2 tweets, not the most recent one.
I only got one.
The one
Hold
before.
on. I only found one. Well, I'll look again.
But it's it's from NBC News, and they put out a report that Usain Bolt had to go into lockdown after contracting COVID-19, and they straight up put a picture of Kevin Hart in the image profile. Like, how does NBC News not double check their tweets enough to know whether or not, hey, is this the right black comedian or the right entertainer? Oh no, sorry, it's the opposite one. This is the dumbest shit in the world to me. That these multi-billion-dollar corporations can't get dumb shit like that right. So to NBC News, ice up, son.
You know, I hope this wasn't one of those fake ones. We got you.
Everybody's been posting it, man.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the Rubio posting the wrong dude, not John Lewis. All right, so ice up NBC. Right now ice up all the news. We were talking about this is how poorly the transition, like the video content, the content creators should be most easily transitioning in the COVID world because like that's what they do. They just produce shit for us to sit and watch. But they've really not been great at it, and particularly this is that you think of all the microphone troubles I have had tonight. They're just as bad. Remember that center? What was the? I mean, it's just I thought the news would be better than just using the damn microphone in my Apple laptop or whatever. But to NBC News, ice up. I want to go next. I'm gonna ice myself up. Icing myself up today. And I would preface this with one of those, like, I usually don't do stuff like this, but you know, when everybody says that, they do it, I guess. I was messaging a friend of mine at work about somebody else at work, and I messaged the person I was talking about.
Oh.
Zing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then didn't get it. Didn't realize I did it till I sent another message.
Oh.
This one was intended for them, really. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't really that bad, but I did feel like a turd.
It sounds like you just got to fall on your sword on this one. Man.
I did. I mean, there's.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to. I mean, obviously, they know exactly what I said.
Explain it to them.
No, all it was is that this cat taught what takes me 2 weeks and 15 minutes. Maybe I've been trying to play it off as a compliment, actually.
I have a story about this. If you,
that's not too bad, to be honest with you.
But
I mean,
like, it was like in the third person. Like, I clearly wasn't talking to him directly. So it was kind of it's shitty, and I was just like, oh. And if you think that I worry about the microphone settings, imagine how long I worried about this fucking.
all right.
Can I tell you my story?
So that's me. Ice up. Make sure that you don't Freudian slip when you're composing a tweet and send it to the person that you're not text, tweet, whatever instead of. Go ahead, CK.
This isn't my ice up, but I feel inclined to tell you guys a story. So there may have been a time, a few years back where I may have been sending my wife some sexual. So no pictures. It was just heavily
lewd conversations.
Yeah, lewd conversations, and I was instigating it, and I sent it, and it had some stuff in there that I would definitely not want her mom to know about.
Oh no!
But I sent it to her mom. Now, here's the genius of this. I freaked out and I told Kayla about it, and she's like, "Oh no!" And I said, "Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep sending them, and then I'm gonna post on Facebook. If you're getting bad messages from me, it's not me. It's somebody's being hacking me."
Wow.
She
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh, man. And it worked like a charm. Let's hope she never watches this episode of C3
Panthers. Oh man, that's great. Great thinking, man.
Homie.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was my
I just kept going on and going on and going on. I was just like,
and then told her it was a joke. That's how I am.
Just kidding, moms.
Yeah.
But no. Did you use that as an excuse to just send the dirtiest shit possible? Now you had a reason to be like, "Oh,
I wanna tag team you and your mom."
I think about you when I'm with her.
Time to learn.
Look at this, John Kid Cabrera, $14.99 love bomb in the show. Thank you for your support. He said Steve Smith is now on Cameo.
Oh, we should get him to do it. Ice Up Son.
Nice. That's a good idea.
Yes, that's what we're doing. We're going to get Steve Smith to do our own Ice Up. That is what we're going to do this year.
I wonder what he costs. It's a pretty interesting thing.
It's probably like $100.
$150.
Yeah,
$150 somewhere in there, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, let's get that.
Funches was like 40.
We need to pitch in and have him ice up all of us. Have him talk shit about each one of us a little bit. How, I think Tyler did that to us in our cat calls one time. That would be funny.
That's a good idea.
Or just have him say, "Ice up, son."
He says, "Can we get updates on what the donated money goes to?" All right, so I'll tell you exactly what the donated money goes to. It goes to I got to pay for the website. That's like $250 a year. And I got to pay taxes on 30% of this. And we really get like $50 every 2 months. So
from YouTube?
Not even. Oh, I don't even get crap from them anymore. I don't really push. We don't push for views. Well, we don't really get this podcast. Thank you for the support. Mm-hmm. But if we want to keep a running tab of money that he said, for a new mic. The problem is the new mic. I've bought a computer over the years and some different things, but there really isn't a lot. But thank you for that. But it really doesn't go to. In the past, we've given away a bunch of shit. I've gotten T-shirts made and some different things. You got to pay for hosting and stuff. Not a lot of expense, but some. Where the money? If we want to keep a running tab of the Ice Up Son contributions, I would totally do that. Like this $15.
Dude, we can add a bar.
He said 150. Yeah, he said 150. We are now at 135 to Steve Smith icing up. And you guys that donate, let's say this, if you donate over $10, you get a hand in maybe what we ask him to say.
I like that.
John Kidco.
I like that.
Like you can help suggest the ice up Tony. You can be like, Tony, get your fucking new mic. Or Steve Smith's coming into your house and punching in the face like Ken Lucas. That's really what I want him to say. Is like, if you don't get this podcast bigger, better, and more awesome, I'm going to punch you in the face like Ken Lucas. That's what I want to say.
Like that.
But okay, so I'm icing myself up on that. Thanks, John Kidco Barrera. We will, especially as the season gets going, then we'll start getting some money. Basically, I'll send. Right now, what we're going to do is the next thing is we're going to get lights for everybody, I guess.
Get what?
Lights.
Oh, like this stuff right here?
Look at this. Oh, my gosh. He wants Smitty. Thank you. Thanks, John Kidco Barrera. We'll get it. We'll definitely get this.
Wow.
In fact, even if we don't get to 150 with donations, I'm doing it no matter what. It's just I'm going to probably wait till the first week of the season or somewhere we get to drop it at a cool time. Okay. He said, Trill Woods, this is awesome. Trill Woods said, Blake, you must not have been around when Tony had the old Elvis Presley mic. Y'all mugs. First, man. I know Tony is low-hanging fruit when it comes to making fun of. I'm easy to pick on. Thanks, Ben S. Thanks, actually, Ben, for all your help. I'm getting the audio corrected because Cody had told me, CK had told me last week that I was blowing out. And I didn't know why it was, but now I was thinking about some different things. We got it fixed. Anyway, what's your ice up pick, CK?
Mine's going to be the the testing center in New Jersey that tested 77 NFL players, and they all came back positive for COVID. And they were false negatives. And so when that happens, that is ridiculous because that is by itself a possible league shutting down type of a situation with 77 players having COVID just randomly in the same vicinity. So the fact that testing facility got 77 testing negative or false positives is just absolutely asinine. So ice up testing facility, ice up.
Doesn't that make you
question the entire system?
Yes, thank you.
And we've been doing this, to be honest, and to be fair, our listeners will support this. We have not been overly negative or overly, we've tried to, I would say, keep a arm's length distance from the conversation being too accusatory. But I've shown fatigue. We've brought these questions up. Greg has talked about fear being a motivator. We talked about a lot of this stuff, but it misses that you have some people suggesting those tests that the NFL is just saying that they're false positives. But then you have other people saying that it's a specific manufacturer of tests. And doesn't this lend a little more credence to the stories that we hear about people that go in to take a COVID test, they get tired of waiting, they leave, and then they get a letter that said they tested positive? I heard a story of one guy who, and it's always a guy who knew a guy, right?
Yeah.
But a guy who knew a doctor who just sent in 3 blank swabs to see what would happen. They all came back positive.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if these are true or not, but doesn't this story breathe a little bit of life into those suspicions?
I just binged Making a Murderer, and I don't trust anything anymore. Period. I just don't. After watching that, I was already a healthy skeptic. Now I am just full-blown. I don't trust anything with anything that any scientific testing, anything that's not run. Because, these things are so easily when you look at the actual specifics of how many hands touch these things, they're so easily compromised. Everything in the world, the justice system, the systems in which they rely on for scientific testing, all of these things are just so easily to compromise. And so I don't trust a single thing anymore. After watching that, I've lost all trust in any system like that.
There's another Netflix special where the girl in a Massachusetts crime lab, and she was in charge of, she just was the one that was just her and this other girl that were doing the drug testing, was just a coke addict and a meth addict, and she was taking all the drugs and just doing them, and and just being like, well, it was drugs, and everybody, the DAs loved her because everything came back as drug. And but you hear there was another instance too, in North Carolina in Durham, and this was, I think, in the 90s or something, or like the head forensic dude was just fudging the test to get through the casework, and then and then what happens is, and this is the problem with this, is that all of a sudden that the cases that were handled appropriately become, null and void because these other real examples.
Yeah.
For me, these types of stories make me continue to I'm like at the point where every news story I just say, is COVID even real?
Yep.
And that's silly. I know it's silly to say. I don't really mean it.
But how real is real is what you're kind of saying.
God, it just is getting to So I'm with you. Ice up to the testing, and the number one statistic I want to know is how many people that get a positive COVID test were sick. Like
fellas, I tell you,
sick.
the more and more time goes by, I genuinely think for that stretch of time when I went to the hospital for a little while, I genuinely think I had it at that point in time.
Yeah.
Because they tested me for the flu like damn near 3 times. One came back inconclusive. Then it came back negative, only to then find out that I did have the flu. So that kind of lets me know they don't really know what the fuck was going on.
Right.
No.
Because I had all the symptoms of it. Every time I would eat food, it would just give me the weirdest effect. I don't know, man. But I definitely think there's a lot of information floating out around this coronavirus that's being, this is official truth coming from trusted resources, only for it to be completely contradicted a little while later. It's like, I feel like you have to genuinely dig for the real truth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just giggled to myself thinking of CK putting that message on Facebook. If you're getting these crazy messages, that's
right?
So
Genius,
brilliant.
though. Genius.
So brilliant. All right, Greg, you got an ice up pick for us?
Yeah, I got like 1.5 because one just recently happened, and I've got to talk about it. But my biggest one, I don't want to not talk about this, is I got to ice up Louis DeJoy. He is the Postmaster General right now, appointed by Mr. Trump. He got grilled. He's come into the post office and changed so many things in the last few months. And there are people waiting on packages 2-3 weeks past the date they're supposed to be, sitting in one facility for a week and a half, 2 weeks, And I'm not sure if all these are causes of what he's done, but it's all started when he's come in and changed things. He got grilled by Congress yesterday, and I was off work and I get to sit down and watch the whole thing, and he looked like an absolute fool. I mean, how can you be the Postmaster General when you don't even know how much a stamp costs? Seriously. It really, really made me upset. There were some Congress people that were actual postal employees beforehand that knew firsthand what it was like, that were just grilling him. He was floundering. Every answer was and just I don't know type deal. The guy's not fit for the job. We spent millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, either way, a lot of damn money, when we were going to decide on a new postmaster, and they narrowed it down to 250 people. Then from those 250, they narrowed it down to 14 people. Then those 14 people, they were supposed to select one person to be a postmaster, and they picked DeJoy, and he wasn't even in the 250 people consideration to begin with. So if that doesn't lead to something being fishy about this whole situation,
system,
him being in there, yes, if you don't see that, if you don't see that ice up at the Louis DeJoy ice up, yeah, you're right. It's a spoil system, man. It really is. Like, he contributes money to a certain cause, care of him, and now he's going to do what he has to do.
Look at DeVos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so these are the, it's the devil. There's 2 bad things about both ways of doing. You can either elect that person, but we elect incompetent people all the time, right? I mean, or you can appoint some. Appointing does help defer some of that popular current, but if the people appointing don't really care about the actual position, but actually instead care about some other agenda, it's the spoil system, dude. I did want to ask you this: is Cody? You got half more ice up. What's your other half? What's your half?
I do. My other half is, while we were podcasting, my wife came home from work and she started screaming and yelling. I didn't know what was going on, so that's why I ran out real quick. My dogs chewed up my mattress. Like, so to Obi-Wan Kenobi and Bucky Barnes, my puppy dogs, ice up because y'all chewed up my mattress. So that's going to cost me like $3,000. I got to buy a new mattress.
No, don't go 3,000. Get a Chinese Tempur-Pedic for 1,800.
Not a bad idea.
It's made out of dead Chinese people, and I love it.
Okay.
It's made out of COVID. Yeah.
Made out of COVID.
There is one more ice up pick. I need Cody to make it, though. Tell me about the Falwell guy.
You mean CK or Cody?
Well, either one. Whoever
that's an hour away from me.
I want to know all about this.
Cody, you go ahead, Cody. You go ahead.
Okay. I got to find it, man. I got to go to my...
So he is a evangelical preacher, correct?
Yeah, well,
he was the president of Liberty University, is that right?
Correct, yeah.
And Liberty University has expanded a lot in the last 20
Liberty
years.
University has exploded,
online.
yeah. They have exploded.
Stuff, right?
My wife actually does their coursework online. But yeah, so his father, Jerry Falwell, was the original. He passed away a while back, but so he has taken over, and he's always been a bit of a controversial subject, especially with Ralph Northam and everything. Some of the tweets he would put out and whatnot. But yeah, he's Cody. You can elaborate more on what's going on.
I couldn't find the article, but basically, this Falwell guy was having a dude basically have sex with his wife in front of the Falwell guy. So the Falwell cuck was into it. Like he is a cuck. But all right, this is my thing, man. Like Joe Rogan has the best joke about this. All these evangelicals that are so anti-gay everything, they're secretly terrified that dicks are delicious. Okay? Right? So I correlate that to this. All these politicians that are so diehard Christian, evangelical, they're far-right conservative, these are the people that do this kind of shit behind closed doors. And they want to tell you that you're fucked up for doing it. It's like, come on, bro. You let a dude blow your wife's back out for over 7 years. And like, dude, he is one of the staunchest, like, dude, it is the definition of...
It's like every politician who is anti-gay but then gets caught sucking D.
Right.
Or whatever, because it's, and to bring this around to one of Greg's podcasts, because I refuse to finish this podcast, obviously. I went and binged The Boys again. I watched it. And you need to go back and watch it, folks, if you're ready for season 2 to come out. Like, you just have to, it's been a long time. If you're like me, who watched it when it first came out, and you forget a lot of stuff. But I tell you, my favorite episode of the entire damn thing, episode, when they're at the revival and he's talking to the stretchy arm dude, and he dropped the phone in the water or whatever. He was going to have, he had this incriminating picture, and instead he said, "You fucked me," or whatever. But it was because it just brought to light, like, and I'm a religious, I won't say I'm not religious. I'm a Catholic, so we're OGs. Like, we're the boring ones. We got our own scandals. But,
Sister Catholic.
We also do the most good, like, the Catholic Church is the largest humanitarian organization in the world. So, but, these types of things were just highlighted in that show a lot, in that episode. So it brought that to mind. And I would tell you this, if there's anything, if you go back and watch The Boys, guys, you got to watch the music selection for each episode. The music selection for each episode has to do with the episode. At the end, at the beginning, the cherry bombs, right when homeboy when they put the thing where they make them eat the C4. They've got all types of music from John Lee Hooker when homeboy's sad and you learn that his wife was raped by whatever. You've got, like, the music. Whoever is doing the music selection has great taste.
You're absolutely right. And if you really like that, you need to watch Umbrella Academy, because if you like music that goes with it, Yeah.
Umbrella
They have a
Academy.
good.
Yeah.
They have a good soundtrack.
Which, by the way, Cody's coming on this weekend on the show. Come check him out.
Yeah.
He's going to talk Umbrella Academy movie and some DC fandom. Tony, if you really like The Boys season 1, you just watched a review. We're reviewing season 1 next week, I think. So not this week, but next week. So just in preparation for season 2. So hit me up if you want to get on there and talk about it.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about The Boys at any moment because.
Yeah.
And isn't that the dude that Seth Rogen? Isn't that who wrote it? Who's the guy?
He has his hands in it. I don't think he wrote it completely, but I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I think he's like producing. Those guys, man, they're just on fire. Some of these dudes just go from nothing to brilliant over the last decade. All right, C3 Panthers Podcast. The number is 252-228-5098. You can check us out on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Do me a solid. Smash the thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. But most importantly, just tell one friend about the podcast. And just know, as you tell one friend about this podcast, that you are going to bring another fan into our community and also have one more listener for when Steve Smith gets hired to do the cameo and ice me up and say, if you don't get your microphone settings right, Tony, I'm going to punch you in the face like Ken Lucas. If he says that, that's going to be the greatest thing ever. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow me at @cat_chronicles. My man Cody Lashney has the Cripple Connection. You guys are on Saturdays now, correct?
Yeah, we're going Saturdays now, 4 p.m. Check us out. It's on my YouTube channel, Cody Lashney. At the start of every month, there is a brand new draft on drafttech.com and written by yours truly. I write the comments for the Carolina Panthers. And you can find me on Twitter at CodyLac, CodyLac.
CK, I got 7 kills in Warzone last night.
Nice.
Man.
That's like good
Very
for
nice.
me. That's my best so far. And I would say it wasn't even my best game. I just had a good gun and a little luck.
Well, you gotta try it out again. They have a new LMG called the Finn, and that thing is like a minigun.
Okay. All right. CK, one question about it before you tell us about your stuff is, does everybody have the codes now to those 2 bunkers, and that's all they do? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. There's more than just the one, but
yeah, the park and
there's
farmland, but you just need the
park,
numbers.
farmland, prison, the other side of the map. Oh yeah, they're all over the place.
Are they going to ever get a new map, or is that the map forever?
Tomorrow they're about to announce that they're going to do an in-game event at some point. I can't remember what time.
1:30.
1:30. Yeah, so that's going to probably. Yeah, they're going to say that the new Warzone map will be just the same place, but in Cold War era.
That's interesting.
So we're going to, like, basically this is the equivalent of the World War II version of.
No, Cold War.
Yeah.
Right, but
80s,
like,
right?
60s to 80s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but are they going to limit guns to that, or like to time period, or do you think it's just going to be like
limited information
it's gonna be
at this
Laos.
point? I mean, you got to remember that was the start of when technology was starting to kick off. So the guns were starting to actually be a little bit more advanced at that point in time, and so you started to have the ballistic missile.
Maybe we can drop Agent Orange on somebody.
Yeah, they're gonna have a zombie mode, battle royale mode, as well. So that's gonna be pretty cool, and they're gonna have a night mode, VR. Okay. So where it'll be nighttime in Verdansk. Yeah, VR. Yeah, battle royale. Like Warzone.
VR.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. VR, yeah.
All right, CK, I know you've been streaming a lot, man. Tell us how it's going, how they can find you.
Yeah, it's going fantastic. This week's been really good. What I need now to try to get my supporter button so people can, hit that supporter button and do $5 a month and try to get certain benefits I haven't figured out yet. I need 250 returning viewers week over week. So, like, if I have now hit 829 followers, if I had 250 of them one week show up and then watch for 3 minutes, one stream, doesn't have to be every stream, and then another 250 show up the next week and do those same 250, then I would be eligible for that supporter button. So I'm that's my next goal right now, outside of just hitting that 1,000 mark on the stream, on the total followers. But yeah, that's the goal.
I officially am not in the Hall of Fame for a Rubik's Cube, just to let y'all know.
I did get a new desk. It's one of those ones it'll be here in the middle of September. It's one of those ones that raise and lower electronically. Are you
going to be a standing desk now?
Yeah, it's going to be a standing, because I mean, I have to work at this desk. I have to sit at this desk, and
Your back is getting it.
Yeah, man, I just need to be able to stand up, for longer periods of time than just being able to stretch and then sit right back down. So
makes sense.
All right, Greg, Man of Many Podcast, the man that owns a pig, the man that builds his own barn, the man that is a veteran and a member of the Postal Service. His ass will go crazy on you if you don't listen to these 92 podcasts he's about to list off.
Oh, yeah. Do good a lot. Yeah. Just check me out easily, the Bad Daddy 52 on Twitter. You can find everything I'm on, but specifically I'm on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. You can find me Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays talking about DC, anything. Fridays talking about animated stuff, shows. Right now we're covering the animated series, Superman, the animated series from the 90s. And then I do Super Civil Servants podcast on Fridays, which you guys have all been a part of. And, you're welcome to come back anytime. We cover just about everything there. It's basically this show, but about geek stuff. Live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube's and on YouTube. And we actually are doing our last show in the minor leagues this week. We actually got picked up by the network, by Geek Ultimate Alliance. So we're getting called into the rotation for the majors. And we're going to be changing our show date to Saturdays after that. So still recording live on Fridays, but dropping the audio on Saturdays.
Congratulations.
It's going to be really fun. Super exciting. Yeah, we did there was Fandom last Saturday, which was like Comic-Con, but it was all digital. It's the first time it's ever been done like this, or all virtual. First time it's ever done like this. Absolutely amazing event. We covered it for 9 hours live on YouTube, and
You did what?
Yeah, we sat down and watched it all together and covered it, all of it as it happened for 9 hours live on YouTube on Saturday. Go check it out.
Football. Y'all think we like football?
Hey, you know what? I brag a little bit here because I'm so proud of it. One of our videos got 10,000 views in 2 days after we did that. So
nice.
I'm pretty excited about that. That's a big deal for a network that's only been going for 3 months, and I'm excited about the future, what's going on with that. But come check us out, man. We like to talk.
Can we say any of the genesis of that idea was the C3 draft party?
It's got to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's got to be.
We have 5,000 views on a C3 draft party. That's kind of, what I was thinking about that is for you is that's like democratizing nerddom.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because a lot of people can't go, a lot of people can't attend this, and now they get to go.
Mm-hmm. It was a really fun experience. Yeah. And if you haven't checked out the new Justice League trailer, the new Batman trailer, or the new Wonder Woman trailer, go check them out. Batman's going to blow your mind.
I feel like if succeed at this podcasting thing and this streaming thing, Cody, Greg, like y'all's marriages, like I'd be more worried about your marriages than the success of your podcast.
Oh, my wife's asleep by the time I start streaming at 10 o'clock at night. So
yeah, okay, all right, you guys got your shit under control. All right, 252-228-5098. Let's go. $50.98. You can check us out on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. do me a solid. Smash the thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. But most importantly, just tell one friend about the podcast. And just know, as you tell one friend about this podcast, that you are going to bring another fan into our community and also have one more listener for when Steve Smith gets hired to do the cameo and ice me up and say, if you don't get your microphone settings right, Tony, I'm going to punch you in the face like Ken Lucas. If he says that, that's going to be the greatest thing ever. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow me at cat_chronicles. My man Cody Lashney has the Cripple Connection. You guys are on Saturdays now, correct?
Yeah, we're going Saturdays now, 4 p.m. Check us out. It's on my YouTube channel, Cody Lashney. At the start of every month, there is a brand new draft on drafttech.com, and written by yours truly. I write the comments for the Carolina Panthers, and you can find me on Twitter at CodyLac, CodyLac.
CK, I got 7 kills in Warzone last night.
Nice.
Man.
That's like good
Very
for
nice.
me. That's my best so far, and I would say it wasn't even my best game. I just had a good gun and a little luck.
Well, you gotta try it out again. They have a new LMG called the Finn, and that thing is like a minigun.
Okay. All right. CK, one question about it before you tell us about your stuff is, does everybody have the codes now to those 2 bunkers, and that's all they
Yeah.
do? Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
that's
There's
all
more than
they
just
do.
the one, but
Yeah, the park and
there's
and
like
farmland
there's
but you just
there's
need the
park,
numbers.
farmland, prison, the other side of the map. Oh yeah, they're all over the place.
Are they
dude.
going to ever get a new map, or is that the map forever?
Tomorrow they're about to announce that they're going to do an in-game event at some point. I can't remember what time.
1:30.
1:30. Yeah, so that's
You gotta
going to
be logged
probably.
in.
Yeah, they're going to say that the new Warzone map will be just the same place, but in Cold War era.
Sausage.
That's interesting.
So we're going to, like, basically this is the equivalent of the World War II version of
No, Cold War. Cold War.
Yeah.
right, but
80s,
like
right?
so, well, 60s to 80s.
Yeah.
So I mean, but are they going to limit guns to that, or like to
I
time
have-
period, or do you think it's
we-
just going to be like
limited
Vietnam?
information
It's
at
going to be
this
like
point.
Laos. We're gonna
I
be
mean, you got to
fighting
remember
in Laos.
that was the start of when technology was starting to kick off. So the guns were starting to actually be a little bit more advanced at that point in time, and so
I hope
you
we
started
can
to have the
drop
ballistic
Agent Orange.
missile.
Maybe
Yeah,
we can drop Agent Orange on somebody.
yeah, they're gonna have a zombie mode, battle royale mode, as well. So that's gonna be pretty cool, and they're gonna have a night mode, VR. So where it'll be
VR?
nighttime in Verdansk. Yeah, VR. Yeah, battle royale, like Warzone.
BR.
Yeah. Okay.
VR. Yeah.
All right, CK. I know you've been streaming a lot, man. Tell us how it's going, how they can find you.
Yeah, it's going fantastic. This week's been really good. What I need now to try to get my supporter button so people can, hit that supporter button and do $5 a month and try to get certain benefits I haven't figured out yet. I need 250 returning viewers week over week. So, like, if I have now hit 829 followers, if I had 250 of them one week show up and then watch for 3 minutes, one stream, doesn't have to be every stream, and then another 250 show up the next week and do those same 250, then I would be eligible for that supporter button. So I'm that's my next goal right now, outside of just hitting that 1,000 mark on the stream on the total followers. But yeah, that's the goal.
I officially am not in the Hall of Fame for a Rubik's Cube, just to let y'all know.
I did get a new desk. It's one of those ones it'll be here in the middle of September. It's one of those ones that raise and lower electronically. Are you
going to be a standing desk now?
Yeah, it's gonna be a standing, because I mean, I have to work at this desk. I have to sit at this desk, and
Your back is getting it.
Yeah, man, I just need to be able to stand up, for longer periods of time than just being able to stretch and then sit right back down. So
makes sense.
All right, Greg, Man of Many Podcast, the man that owns a pig, the man that builds his own barn, the man that is a veteran and a member of the Postal Service. His ass will go crazy on you if you don't listen to these 92 podcasts he's about to list off.
Yeah. Do good a lot. Yeah. Just check me out easily. The Bad Daddy 52 on Twitter. You can find everything I'm on, but specifically I'm on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. You can find me Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays talking about DC, anything. Fridays talking about animated stuff, shows. Right now we're covering the animated series, Superman, the animated series from the 90s. And then I do Super Civil Servants podcast on Fridays, which you guys have all been a part of. And, you're welcome to come back anytime. We cover just about everything there. It's basically this show, but about geek stuff. Live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. And we actually are doing our last show in the minor leagues this week. We actually got picked up by the network, by Geek Ultimate Alliance. So we're getting called into the rotation for the majors. And we're going to be changing our show date to Saturdays after that. So still recording live on Fridays, but dropping the audio on Saturdays.
Congratulations.
It's going to be really fun. Super exciting. Yeah, we did there was Fandom last Saturday, which was like Comic-Con, but it was all digital. It was the first time it's ever been done like this, or all virtual. First time it's ever done like this. Absolutely amazing event. We covered it for 9 hours live on YouTube, and
you did what?
Yeah, we sat down and watched it all together and covered it, all of it as it happened for 9 hours live on YouTube on Saturday. Go check it out.
Football. Y'all think we like football?
Hey, you know what? I brag a little bit here because I'm so proud of it. One of our videos got 10,000 views in 2 days after we did that. So
nice.
I'm pretty excited about that. That's a big deal for a network that's only been going for 3 months, and I'm excited about the future, what's going on with that. But come check us out, man. We like to talk.
Can we say any of the genesis of that idea was the C3 draft party?
It's got to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's got to be.
We have 5,000 views on a C3 draft party. That's kind of, what I was thinking about that is for you is that's like democratizing nerddom.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because a lot of people can't go. A lot of people can't attend this. And now they get to go.
Mm-hmm.
You get to be
it was a really fun experience. Yeah. And if you haven't checked out the new Justice League trailer, the new Batman trailer, or the new Wonder Woman trailer, go check them out. Batman's going to blow your mind.
I feel like if succeed at this podcasting thing and this streaming thing, Cody, Greg, like y'all's marriages, like I'd be more worried about your marriages than the success of your podcast.
Oh, my wife's asleep by the time I start streaming at 10 o'clock at night. So
yeah, okay, all right, you guys got your shit under control. All right, 252-228-5098. Let's go